Well, greetings. Hello, hello. We are here again for the C-Suite Network Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. We are going to be bringing more sparkle and reinvention to your life. And I am so delighted and so excited to introduce, in just a moment, formally introduce our two esteemed faculty member speakers, Sheila Anderson and Cathy Derksen. And I'm Kathleen Caldwell, founder of the C-Suite Network Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. I'm all about reinvention. I get bored when things are boring. And so I like to reinvent for the sake of reinvention. And so I'm an author, speaker, a coach, consultant, trusted advisor, and I love all things bringing smart women together for conversations about excellence, success, higher purpose, and reinvention. So that's why we're here today. And so as we move through our fabulous program today, we've got a great program for you. Would love to give a big shout out to Liz Luckett on her fabulous program, Oh My Goodness, Amplify the Power of Your Voice for Global Impact. This program last week was fantastic. We were so inspired, and we actually got to hear some great poetry from Liz and strategies and tactics on how to amplify our voice. Great program. Watch the replay in our YouTube channel. And of course, Sheila Anderson. Sheila, we can't get enough of you. We loved your program all about perseverance more than ever. Sheila brought to our program and led our program the conversation about what we need to do to persevere and have that tenacity and resiliency, because life throws us curveballs and we've got to have the ability to persevere and to be able to make it through the challenges in life in order to succeed and to thrive, of course. So Sheila, thank you for that beautiful program. And I have a little lotus flower picture in this graphic for you because that's how we see you, as a lotus flower opening up and blooming and blossoming, just like you, Cathy Derksen. So thank you for our great programs. And as we start our program today, it's about reinvention. And I have to say, I've had a firsthand front row seat of seeing the two of you reinvent not only yourselves, your careers, your business, your outlook, your perspective, your offers, everything that you're doing, you're constantly reinventing, not for the sake of reinvention, but reinventing for excellence. So Sheila, we're going to bring you up to our stage, as well as Cathy Derksen. Sheila is the founder of Image Power Play. Sheila is an author, she's a keynote speaker, and she is a branding expert. So we want to bring your point of view, Sheila, into our broadcast today. And Cathy Derksen, thank you, Inspired Tenacity. You have created a whole body of work and a whole community around women transforming their lives in quote unquote midlife, whether that's 50, 60, 70, whatever the number is, being able to transform and to rebrand and reinvent themselves as well. So thank you to the two of you for being our esteemed faculty member speakers. So starting with kind of a definition of reinvention, a noun, to make as if for the first time, something that's been already invented. Or number two, to remake or redo completely. Or number three, to bring into use again, reinvention. And so love to start with a conversation. And for all of you here watching and participating in our broadcast, and then of course watching our replay, thinking about what reinvention means for you. And I'm just curious to kind of start things off. Sheila, would love to get your voice in here, and you too, Cathy. What does reinvention mean to you personally, professionally, and with where you are in your life?
Thanks,
I'm going to
Kathleen.
stop the sharing and just get your views on this. Yeah, reinvention.
Such a great question. What does reinvention mean? So for me, I think of it in terms of staying current, making sure that your business, your thought process, your brand, all about you, everything about you is staying current with the times and staying current with, what's going on and just thinking about not being status quo anymore.
Excellent. Excellent. Completely agree. And, I think of when we look at the landscape of business, we go on LinkedIn or we're in a business event, a seminar, workshop. I think we can see at a glance who is really kind of current with things and I think it's an embodiment, but it's also a mindset and an energy. Yes. And Cathy, what are your thoughts about, what is that definition? What does reinvention mean to you? Because you've been reinventing yourself and, inspiring others to do the same.
Exactly. And for me, I always go back to this example of midlife women. And I'm sure midlife men, experience similar things, but obviously women, their perspective is what I know best. And that idea that we hit this time in life when we think, okay, what I'm doing right now is not me. It's not what I know I'm here to do. And really to step into that next thing, to me, it requires a complete reinvention. It requires you to think kind of deeply into who am I and what's important to me and what can I see myself doing over the next 10, 20, 30 years, and really taking those steps to do that, whether it's a change in career, whether it's a retirement and then stepping into something else, whether it's realizing that getting fit or getting involved in certain causes, or kind of stepping into that time of what am I here to do, what excites and inspires me, who do I need to become to do that. And to me, that's reinvention.
Beautifully.
Excellent. A great definition and you can see it. It's a real energy, Cathy, and fantastic. And I think also this is so important for all of us as coaches, consultants, trusted advisors, thought leaders, speakers, authors, that I think we need to set the pace. And people look to us as their guides, as their mentors. And, what are we doing to reinvent ourselves? And are we keeping current and contemporary and inspired and motivated no matter our circumstances and no matter our age or whatever it is? So, yeah, we're setting the pace in the race, so to speak. There's a little rhyming nomenclature there that I kind of like there. So, yes, yes, yeah. Sheila, what are your thoughts about, when it comes to branding or, style or just anything around reinvention?
Well, the first thing is reinvention needs to be for you. You're doing it for yourself first. So you have to embody you have to want to be, do the reinvention. It's not everybody telling you to do it, because sometimes that becomes, you just turn that off. So you have to embody it. And when you're thinking about reinvention, Cathy talked about, like, we all have these unfulfilled dreams. And if we get to a point in our life where we start thinking about those dreams, we're feeling a bit status quo, maybe we're not attracting the clientele that we want to if we are businesses or entrepreneurs. Maybe we're not getting the fees or commanding the fees that we believe we should. So there's a lot of different things that happen in our life that push us to think about, maybe I need to do a reinvention. And when you start thinking to yourself, I wonder if I should do a reinvention, now's the time. And it's probably maybe a little not too late, but it's, maybe past a little bit of time to be doing that. So if you start questioning yourself, if you want to start, do I need to reinvent myself? What do I do? What are the next steps? What do I need to do to reinvent myself? And one of the things that I start with people is to really figure out, you look at all your past experiences and all your skill sets, and those always carry with you. You always have that to build upon. And maybe there's some new skill sets that you need to learn for your reinvention. But you start with, how are you coming across now? What do people think about when they think of you? How do I stay top of mind to my target audience? And you've heard me say this a million times, is people need to know you before they need you. So how do I learn about you? How do I find you? And how are you standing out? And so it comes back to what's called that brand personality, and coming up with those adjectives that you want associated with who you are, your skill sets, your core values, how you're showing up visually in your appearance, creating a signature style with your clothing and online. Because in today's market and in today's world, maybe we never meet face to face in person. And most of our interactions a lot of times are done virtually. And so that really plays a part in um, uh, looking at how you're coming across, what needs to change on your Zoom appearance. There's so many things, but if you can tie everything back to those 1 to 5 words, those adjectives that you want used to describe you and that you want to own in the minds of others, that's the building block where you start reinventing yourself. And maybe the words that you thought of 10 years ago aren't the words that you think of now, are the ones of your future self. What does that future self look like? What are those words that you want to embody in the next 1 to 5 years? So if you think that's really just a good starting point.
Oh, fantastic, Sheila. So agree. And I also think about, Cathy, when you're bringing women together in communities to amplify their voice and be able to bring their voice and their stories into books and words and bodies of work. What are your thoughts about this reinvention process as it relates to printed, the printed media or speaking or writing, all those things?
Or even thinking about it from a broader perspective of, again,
Excellent.
here's these women that are feeling like they need to reinvent themselves. What are those next steps? And I always like to remind people, in most cases, your immediate family and friends are not the ones who are going to support you and encourage you when you decide you actually want to make some big changes in your life. So quite often those people, I mean, they're not trying to hurt you. They're just trying to keep you safe. It's the, oh, just, settle down, don't worry about it, you'll get over this, go back to what you were doing. So when you're really feeling that, I know I need to step into something else, to me, one of the first parts is finding that community of other women who are doing that, who are a little bit ahead of you or are right there with you, making that big leap, and connect with them. And these days, on, like Sheila was saying, everybody's on Zoom, everyone's all over the world doing this together. So it's so easy to find a community who you feel comfortable with, you feel that they are going to support you in whatever evolution you feel you need to go into. And, again, whether you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, I've met some women in their 80s who are doing something new and amazing and just getting out there in the world. So you're never too late to just get started. And so to me, that community is the first part. And like you were saying, one of the big things that I do is I create anthology projects, multi-author books. And to me, a big part of that is bringing women together as a community, generally 20 or 25 women per project. They're each sharing their own journey based on the theme of the book, writing one chapter, but they're working together as a team. And so really they're getting to know each other, they're connecting with each other's networks, they're meeting new people, other opportunities from being involved in the project. So to me, that's why I do these now, is because I really see the impact that it has on their personal life, on their business life, really from every perspective in their life. To be able to share your story, share your journey, work together as a team with a group of women from around the world. It's an amazing, life-changing experience for most of the women involved.
Oh, fantastic. And it's a great way to live, isn't it also, Sheila, to be able to, bring our best, be inspired, motivated, and, thinking about what's next in life. I find that medical mischief, as I call it, occurs when human beings, we don't have something that we're looking forward to, that we're inspired by. And so all of a sudden, what happens, I see, is that without that big, bright future of I want to do that, and what is it going to take for me to do that thing? Then the hip replacement or the total knee surgery starts flaring up to take the place of that. That's a reinvention in itself, but maybe not the one that we're choosing, or maybe it is. Yeah. So, reinvention, your thoughts about that, about, a bigger, brighter purpose.
Yeah. And if you think about your future, I love when you said it's something to look forward to. We all still need to have those dreams. Those dreams for us are really, really important and will help us, continue and to move forward. But don't let those dreams die. I mean, they're still in you, even at 50, even at 60, even at 70. I mean, my goodness, my grandma wrote a book after the age of 60, a first-time author. So, she still had dreams and goals and things to do. But visualization, I think, is a really, really important thing. And to visualize yourself where you want to be. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What are those emotions? How are you embodying that? And to maybe write yourself a reinvention letter and start thinking about a vision board or a mood board. Those types of things can really help keep us motivated, along with the support of the community that Cathy talks about. You need those people to help uplift you and to say, you can do it. Yes, let's go. You're doing the right thing. This is great. All that encouragement will help us. But that visualizing yourself, that future self, is really, really, really important. And what does she look like? What do you need to change to step into that? Or what do you need to adjust to step into that? And from, one of the perspectives I talk about is creating that signature look. What is she wearing 5 years? What is she wearing as the CEO of her company? What is she wearing as starting a nonprofit? What is she wearing on that stage as she's doing a keynote in front of millions of people? So start visualizing that. And when you get to that point, when you become that person, that should just feel like a rerun because you have visualized it so much. So I think that's really, really important. And one of the first things you can do, that's a quick thing, and then people kind of laugh about this, but change something now. Just have some type of um something that is tangible that people know, oh, she's starting to reinvent, she's starting to redo things. And we hear all the time a woman who cuts her hair is about to change her life. So I'm like, go get a haircut, go do something fun like that. That's a visual representation that you're on the brink of starting to do some reinvention, some changing. And it's a quick win now that makes you feel like you've done have moved forward and that people will start noticing those little things.
Oh, fantastic. Or a lipstick,
A
or a change
lipstick.
of perspective, or a Zoom background, or whatever it is, I think, and I think that freshening up ourselves and our perspectives and our mindset and being around people. And Cathy, this, you're creating community. Sheila, you've got community. We've got the Women's Coaching and Consulting Council and the Women's Success Accelerator, that bringing together like-minded people from the perspective that the common denominator is growth and excellence and maybe a little bit of never completely satisfied. We're satisfied at the where we get here, but it's like always looking for, okay, what's next? We love where we're at, but what's next? And, Cathy, I'd like to also get your point of view. You made a career transition and really reinvented yourself. So you're modeling that for your clients in your community. What would you like to speak about reinvention, taking big risks?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I will not say it was easy. It definitely was a huge thing, but to me, what really got me started was recognizing that the situation I was in, both my home life and my workplace, were very toxic environments that I could feel that my mental and physical health were, really taking the toll on both of them. And so I had to make that big decision that I need to make big changes right now. And yes, and I set out on my journey. My feeling, my calling was that I wanted to do something that was in direct contact with women and really had a true impact on their life. And also women on a global scale. So not just a small group, but I knew that I really needed to connect with women on a global scale, doing something that had a massive impact in their life. And of course, when I first set out on that journey, I had no idea what that was going to look like. And here I am 10 years later, and publishing has become the whole focus of my work. And I just see that it really is doing that. I work with international groups of women, each one of them participating in these books, and other projects we've got are just life changing for them.
Fantastic, because what I'm also seeing is, and Sheila, and we've talked about this before as well, and Cathy, is I believe that a vision of ourselves starts pulling us either towards pleasure, obviously, and this is Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs, of course, but pulling us toward the pleasure that we want, or pulling us away from the pain of what we're experiencing. And sometimes it is that push and pull. And I think one of my top messages is don't fall asleep or go to sleep in the midst of this. Because I think I know in my life, there have been times when it's like, okay, it's fine, it's okay, but that little voice inside of me says, no, it's really not okay. It's just really not okay. You are meant for more. You really should be doing more. Don't settle and don't compromise. So reinvention, it takes a lot of courage, doesn't it?
One of the lines that one of my friends said one time, she said, "You get what you're willing to tolerate."
Absolutely.
And that just hit me to the core, because it's so true. If you're willing to put up with those things that you don't want, or you're willing to put up with ignoring your goals and dreams and putting them on the back burner, that's exactly what you'll get. It's when that what you're willing to tolerate shifts. It's like, okay, I'm not willing to tolerate being in a toxic environment, or doing something that I know doesn't feed my soul, or not having the impact that I know I'm here to have. So really looking at, what are you tolerating? Is that okay? And shifting that line.
Excellent, Cathy. Excellent. And I don't know, Sheila, you advocate making big changes, but also small changes too. I think, what would you say? What's right? Is there a system or a strategy that you would say? I know you about reinvention, because I know you also love to bring in past successes into your formula. What are your thoughts about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Big, small changes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And again, I think if we look back on our past successes, because those always carry with us. They stay with us. Again, I've said this at the beginning, they're kind of a building block for us. And it's a way for us to kind of look back and think, you know what, I did good with this. I've accomplished this. There's so much more I can accomplish, because you've already accomplished some things, and you can accomplish more. I think when we get into our uh in my 30s and 40s, you kind of played around with your dreams and, what you wanted out of life. And I didn't take it as seriously until I turned 50. And then I really started thinking legacy. What is it that I was put here on earth to do? What is my assignment here? And I think about that quite often. Is apparently I haven't completed my assignment because I'm still here. So that's something that I mean, it's kind of some deep thinking, but for me, it's like I have an assignment here on earth, and I'm still here, so I still need to complete my assignment. I had somebody tell me one time, because was struggling with, well, what I'm doing maybe doesn't matter. We, have that self-talk sometimes. That's the imposter syndrome or whatever that is. But I had somebody say to me that you're being selfish if you don't put yourself out there because somebody needs to hear from you. Somebody needs you to help them, and somebody needs you to be there for them and for their business and whatever that is. So you're being selfish if you don't promote yourself, if you don't put yourself out there. And I never thought about it that way, which I thought was a really interesting concept. And one thing I just want to go back a little bit when you said about pain and pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've said this on a couple other podcasts that we've done, but it's for me when that pain of staying the same, staying status quo, becomes greater than that pain of change, because sometimes changing can be painful and hard, but what's more painful? And when that pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, that's when you'll step into it. That's when you'll really start taking those first steps of what do I need to do? What do I need to change? As Cathy said, she had to recognize a toxic environment. So all those things, right? Is that pain for you? Is it so painful? Or is it more painful just to stay there? So, you have to evaluate that.
Excellent. Yeah, and I think this is also personally, professionally,
Yeah.
health, vibrancy, legacy. I mean, there's so many different angles to this. And the thing that I'm also really clear about is, and Cathy, you mentioned this too, as also to be in a community of people who are all moving forward in a growth mindset and, that are action takers, visionary thinkers too. And that's where I commend and just admire and appreciate our Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, because we are all those kinds of women. And, to be around a mentor, a guide, and to be in a community where they see you as an even greater or greater version of yourself. They see something about you and see your attributes, and that we can't even really see ourselves, and pull us forward to that greater place in life. I think
And
it's
so
just really important. Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah.
you think that there's this energy that we all get when we start seeing ourselves, but what we can succeed, and it becomes energizing, and then the community around you is, excited for you, and there's all this wonderful energy that, keeps fueling us and becomes just is maybe something new that we haven't had that energy for a while. And why did we lose that energy?
Right.
It's a great question to ask ourselves, but for me, I start feeling this energy and it's exciting and it keeps me going. And I think it's something really important, right? That the energy that not only we're getting from people and that we feel for ourselves, but the energy we're projecting, right? That energy we're projecting when people are around us and they feel us, that, this person is moving, they're changing things up, they're shaking things up, they're being innovative, they're, becoming, the next best version of themselves. So that's attractive, right?
It
That
absolutely
it's
is.
magnetic and it attracts people to you.
Yeah, fantastic. Sheila, so agree. And Cathy, you're also bringing groups of authors together to do that as a tour de force. I mean, that is fantastic. And, to be in a sisterhood like that is very, very powerful. Yeah. And so maybe as we wrap up here, some final thoughts about reinvention and, when to start, how to start, why to start, and how to keep that momentum going. Your final thoughts on that. Cathy, jump in. You've got a lot to
All
say. And
right. All
by the
right.
way, our broadcast could go about 2, 3, 4 hours, but we like to just boil it down and get to the
That's right.
bottom line,
That's
don't we?
right. And
Yeah,
yes, and I would say if you're feeling that calling, now is the time to start. And
yeah,
one point that I wanted to make sure we brought in too, though, is the idea that it's not a straight line. It's not all
excellent.
straight up. You will experience ups and downs and bumps in the road. And that's another reason why having community around you of people that know that have been there, that can help you just get through those things. So don't get frustrated when there's a bump in the road, because there will be more bumps in the road. That's part of the game. And the community is here for you.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Yes, certainly not a straight line. We've all experienced that, right? That opportunities, situations, collaborations. I mean, I don't know that we could have really planned today this conversation 6 months or a year ago. I mean, it just
Yeah.
organically and beautifully came together, the three of us having this great but very important conversation. Yeah, yes. And Sheila, your thoughts as we complete our time together about reinvention.
Yeah, we all live at that level we believe. And so I want you to believe bigger. And I want you to start thinking of yourself as an asset because you are your most important asset. So start investing in your best asset, which is you.
Excellent. Yes. Yes. And my parting words are, of course, that we're leaders and we are leading our packs in our communities. And it's really important for us, not as a pressure thing, not as a judgment thing, but more as an opportunity to really be our best version of ourselves, our most inspiring, lit up kind of a leader, but the way of living, our point of view, and that type of energy is so, as you both have said, is very attractive. It's attracting, and people notice and they wonder what's up with that person. There's something alluring and interesting. And isn't that really what we want in our lives, is to be working on important, interesting projects with incredible people, amplifying and getting our voice out there in the world and living a life we really love, right? Yes, yes. So I think we'll just wrap up for now. And as I always like to do, is to think about, putting some bookends on our time together and thinking about what was your biggest takeaway? What did you learn? And most importantly, what will you do about it? And so, with that, thank you very much. It's been such a great opportunity to hear from you, Sheila, and you, Cathy Derksen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Great conversation. And next time, we're going to be talking about our women's coaching and consulting. We've got a member only event next Thursday. And that program is going to be very, very powerful because we're talking about the latest, newest inside trends for coaches and consultants. What's happening that the leading coaches are doing and what is happening in the marketplace. So we're going to be talking about those trends in our broadcast next week. Okay, 1 p.m. Eastern. So with that, thank you, thank you. Great time, great topic. And let's go forward and reinvent. How's that? Continuously reinvent. Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye for now. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.